It's one of the most perplexing mysteries in crime fiction. Why did Arthur Conan Doyle kill off his most famous creation, Sherlock Holmes, at the height of his fame? Holmes seemed to meet his end in a story called The Final Problem, published in 1893, but it caused an enormous fan backlash. Thousands cancelled their subscriptions to the Strand magazine where the Holmes stories had appeared, and there were many fans who mourned Sherlock Holmes' death wearing black armbands. Now, Doyle later revealed that Holmes had faked his own death at the Reichenbach Falls, and he made a dramatic reappearance in The Hound of the Baskervilles in 1902, and the fans were clamouring for Holmes's return. Now, at the time of Sherlock Holmes's apparent demise, Conan Doyle's father, Charles, who was a chronic alcoholic but a very talented artist, had just died. Doyle was sent to an asylum, and to some extent his plight was something of an embarrassment, a guilty secret for the Doyle family, and he was shut away in an asylum, but he continued with his weird and wonderful artwork, paintings of fairies and goblins, and here you can see a painting which involves the spirits of prisoners. Charles insisted that he was sane in his diaries, but his descent into insanity continued. You can see some of his other artwork here. Now, we know that Charles was proud of his son's early literary success, and indeed in an interview later in his life, Arthur Conan Doyle said that his father had been an extraordinary talent, but he was very critical of his father's alcoholism, and you can see that in some of Doyle's fiction as well. He frowned on alcoholism. This is another of his father's fantastical artworks. Now, Charles Doyle was still institutionalized when he died in October 1893, 2 months prior to the publication of The Final Problem, where Holmes apparently met his death at the Reichenbach Falls. So could the death of his father have convinced Conan Doyle to do what must have seemed unthinkable to him as well as to his fans, killing off Sherlock Holmes? Stricken by grief and guilt, he destroyed Holmes, destroyed the thing which had made him famous, or at least appeared to. Was his father's death the trigger for that course of action? In a Holmes story called His Last Bow from 1917, Holmes uses the alias Altamont, which was Charles Doyle's middle name, and Doyle mounted an exhibition of his father's artwork at the Brooke Galleries in London, and the art was praised by the playwright George Bernard Shaw.